There we are. And we're live. And good evening, good morning, good afternoon, and good day. I am your griot, your Sensei Al Bob, coming to you on Dreamy Dreamland with Sensei Al Bob. And I have been observing the things going on all around us, the coronavirus, the pandemic. Last year, something like 80,000 people died of the flu in the United States. So far, nobody's died of the current coronavirus. But the one interesting thing that I have observed is how quickly it is spreading, and that it spreads from person to person like the flu does, but its DNA is different. Thus, it's an unknown quantity, and we don't really know. I'm a demographer, so we don't know the real numbers from China yet. We don't know. Like last year's flu, 1 in 3 people who were exposed to the flu got sick. 1 in less than 100 got really sick. 1 in less than a few hundred died. Right? So we don't know that kind of coverage yet about this. So that's what's a little iffy, because if this is really bad, the horse has already gotten out of the barn. And it's been about a month before the Chinese really got an idea that this was a problem. And already people had, the cities that it came out of, had, many millions of people who traveling all over the place, and a lot of people travel to their place. So it's an unknown quantity. And that's why the WHO is not quite made it a planetary, we got to lock it down, right? Because I don't know what it is. Then you look at the stock market, and the present administration of the carrot head, he is just a poster boy. He doesn't know or understand anything, and he was talking about getting rid of the swamp. He has the most swampiest swamp monsters as the people who had his administration. They're all from large corporations. The guy heading the Defense Department is from Raytheon. The guy who's head of the Commerce Department, is a hedge fund dude, and old, and and I'm old, so I'm not really dissing old folk, but what's going on is like everything is kind of like the coronavirus. We know it's bad, but we don't know how bad. We don't know what's going on. There is no picture. And then you look at this, wanting to, impeach Carrot Head, and why? I mean, if anyone ever needed to be impeached, it was Dick Cheney and Boy George, because they killed thousands, millions, right? Started, destroyed what little tenuous balance of peace in the Middle East there was. They blew it out of the water, right? They invaded Iraq with a lie, weapons of mass destruction. Unable to connect to chat. Please try again later. And, no one, I have so few folk but I'm up there, watching my show, but I am, technically harassed all the time, which only, a number of people who have large shows, big coverage, millions of followers, billions of views, have contacted me on my, and if you want to get a hold of me, you get a hold of me at the dude awake 42 at Gmail. I've said, you're doing a great job. Just keep plugging away. So that's what I'm doing because this is a shamanic ceremony that I'm doing here, right? And I'm assisting everyone who watches it to clear their space, clear their energetics, have themselves be balanced, so they can, in every day and every way, take the piece of the earth and make it stronger. Right? So that's where I'm at. That's what I'm here to do. I'm your griot. I tell you a story, and I try to give you some insight. And that's why the live chat is a good thing. And then, it seems that I can only do a live chat at, some public library, restaurant, coffee shop that has pretty good Wi-Fi. This kind of, neighbor Wi-Fi, not so great, right? It seems that it gets up there, and there are people watching it. It's too bad that there is no seemingly no live chat going on. Why not? I have no idea. Participants. Pop out chat. No, I want to toggle time state. Who knows what that means? Participants. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm just going to wing it as I always do. People like the couple who does Truth Stream Media, excellent, right? And, Max Igon from Crow House, excellent. Truly Grace Poll, excellent. Dark Journalism, excellent. And all these folks have the experience, the know-how, the tech, the assistance, the crew, the backing to produce a program. Me, I just wing it. I just hit live chat and go for the flow, and it's a stream of consciousness. And the show is at its best. The Dreamy Dreamland show is at its best when the cadre is part of the chat. And I'm telling a story and then responding to it, and then I read it, and then we have a nice little conversation instead of me having a pre-programmed thing about this. So, Saturday, 2 days from today, is going to be the 1st of February, and we will be at our 11th month of a window of opportunity. And, when you have a window open, you have a vacuum. There's a sucking sound, right? So, and nature can't stand a vacuum. So something would be put in its place. So as we're watching the impeachment thing in the Senate, which is a total sham, because, Donald Trump has done so many things, lied so much. Bill Clinton got impeached for lying about a sexual act, right? Well, friggin' Donald Trump, is up to 40,000 lies, or I really don't know, but a lot of lies, right? And at least I say, hey, I'm a griot. I'm telling you a story. Don't believe a word I say, right? So that's not a lie. I'm just telling you a story, right? And all I want you to do is to listen and take the story I tell you to give you a little something to think about, something to get you outside your box, something to have you realize why you're really here. What are you really here for? The only thing in our life that is for sure is that we're going to die. right? Now, we don't quite know when we're going to die, but we know we're going to die, right? So between now and that time when we die, it's up to us to do something with our life, you know? And the thing that we are really truly asked for, Love's Co-Creation gives us this experience. And what we need to give back to Love's Co-Creation is to co-create with love to every day and every way. Be that change you want to see in the world. Live your life as an example, right? And not to some false belief structure of a religion or political or social or cultural structure, of a tribal motif. No, we are all our relations, not just white people, or black people or this kind of people. No, we are all our relations. And not only Homo sapiens sapien, but every creature, every brother and sister of ours is every phylum of every plant, every animal, whether they're feathered, whether they're scaled, whether they're skinned, whether they're cold blooded, warm blooded, carbon based, or silica based. We're all our relations, right? So, in every day and every way, we need to take the piece of the earth and make it stronger with Love's Co-Creation in service to Love's Co-Creation through our unconditional empathy to our brethren, all our others, all those others that people look at, right? And go, ooh, right? All those invisible homeless folk, all those people who are dying in wars that they didn't start, but Boeing's sure making a lot of money out of it, so is Raytheon, so is General Dynamics, so is Lockheed Martin, so is Grumman Northrop, and virtually our government is a corporate structure, it's a corporate oligarchy. And that's why the real truth can't be gotten at, because it's owned within a corporate structure. You can't use a FOIA request to go after information that Lockheed Martin is holding at the Skunk Works, Any of this stuff, TRW, Hughes Aerospace, even Mr. Musk's, SpaceX, these are all things, and Mr. Musk wants to put wires in your head to connect you to AI. After telling you AI is the biggest, it's going to kill us. Well, let's wire our brains into AI. I mean, this is all a scam. This is the biggest snake oil scam that and every so often this occurs, right around 100 AD, between 100 AD and 300 AD, when the Roman Empire had to rebrand itself because it had gone through what we're going through right now. They had expanded their empire out to such an extent that they had hundreds of garrisons all around the known world, right? So much so that the inside, the Rome part, the people, the public, the public collapsed because for, hundreds of years, the political structure was held together by bread and circus. And now, right now, we have fast food and, big screen TVs and social media, and we're addicted to all of that. And here at Dreamy Dreamland, we're on, the YouTube platform, but we're trying to reach out. We're like a safety net. We are a life raft. We are, a flotation device, to keep our head above the water, right? So we can be awake, right? But I've been talking now 14 minutes and 39 seconds, and there's only 3 of you watching, right? Or at least now 4. And, make some more comments down below. More of those subscriptions and likes Get a hold of me at my Gmail account, the Dude Awake 42 at Gmail, and let's see what we can do together. And in your own neighborhoods, your own communities, reach out to the people around you. We are online, at the supermarket. Talk to the people in a positive kind of way. Listen to what they have to say. Be sympathetic, right? If you have friends, do things with them. Just don't talk about what's on your platform or your Facebook or Twitter account. No, go out, go dancing, go have a potluck dinner, have a book reading club, start, you know, something with friends that helps somebody else. Go volunteer. I've been volunteering my whole life. And it's one of the most fun things. I meet new people, have new friends, have new experiences. I expand my own consciousness by helping others, right? That's why I'm doing this channel. It's disappointing that at this place, which would, relatively convenient for me, that I can't seem to get a live chat going here. But such is life. So here it is, 5:59. Oh, it's almost 6 o'clock. And there it is, 6 o'clock. So, when it hits 17:17, I'm going to shag off, and I'm going to try and come back around 8 o'clock tonight, between 8 and 9. If I'm not on by 9, you can know that I'm not coming on. I might leave another. Did you like, Commander Wackoff, who came and gave you a midday report on how the alien incursion is going? We are controlled by this force. Everything, that people go, oh, it's the end of times. Well, it's the end of a certain time, not end of all time, because there is no time. We don't live in a linear experience. I was at a friend of mine's bar yesterday, and it's in one of the college towns, and there were all these people in there who were experts. This is a person who is, she told everyone, she's just really, her real job is, a bar waitress, but she's going to get, an interview on Skype to see if she's going to go to some university as a PhD, right? And she's just finishing up her little master's. And I said, so how much are you in debt for? She didn't want to talk about that, And she was, a microbiologist. And I was talking about, instead of microbiology, I was talking about another family of biology that starts with M, and because how I learn about people is really, if they call themselves an expert, I'll say things that I know are wrong, and if they, can't put the dots together, then I know they're full of crap, right? And so that person basically ignored me once she realized that I asked her a question that she couldn't answer. And because she couldn't answer it, it kind of showed that she was, full of crap. And she left, actually, right, to go, on her Skype interview. And then there was another guy sitting next to me, and he was a physicist. And he was going on about the Higgs boson, right? And I said, so that's the God particle. And he said, and I said, so what's the difference between a gravitational wave and, the God particle? Because in physics, they really don't know whether matter is energy and whether it's a particle or a wave. And, It's one of those big questions that, blows a hole through string theory, and he was going on about Einstein. I said, well, Einstein's kind of a moron. He couldn't even do math. His first wife, who was his cousin, was the person who did all the math that he got a Nobel Prize for, and he did everything he could to ruin her life. And he went to America to be basically a poster child for the Rockefeller Foundation. And he didn't want to hear that, And he said, well, you don't know about blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, explain it to me. Oh, it'll take me 2 years to explain it to me. Well, then I pulled out my little phone and I Googled it, and Google told it to me in 2 paragraphs. And I just kept doing that. And then my friend, who I was supposed to meet, came in, and he saw me doing this to all these people, and he just chuckled and kind of said, come to the other side of the bar where my friends are. And so so I started telling him stories and stuff. And there were, he had about 6 of his buddies there. And I gave them a cold reading, all of them. And there were 6 of them. And everyone was amazed and amused. And 2 of them had to prove that somehow I was wrong, or somehow I was scamming them, or somehow. And I said, listen, don't believe anything I say. I'm just telling you a story. I'm a storyteller, And so so everyone kind of got into the space of enjoying the story, but those 2 still had it in them to want to prove something, right? And I said, listen, all you have to do is suspend your disbelief. Your other friends here, who are a lot smarter than you are, have suspended their disbelief. They're just going along for the ride because it's a fun ride, And, and you can keep asking me a question to prove that I'm wrong. And I'll keep telling you where to look it up at Google, and you'll be disappointed and be more frustrated, and then try to prove me wrong even more. And they did that until they said, okay, Uncle, we're going to suspend our disbelief and go along for the ride. And for the next hour, we had a great time. We had dinner and we drank, and I'm a cheap date, 1 drink. And I'm also a cheap date. I only had a bowl of chili instead of, the big entrees. And I knew that I was going to turn into punk, and I had to get home before dark 30. And haven't you noticed how it's getting dark later and later? Right now it's 6 o'clock, and it's still 6:06, and it's still kind of light out there. So we're at a place in time and space that we have always been, because we're not in a linear space and time. And we have the opportunity to step up, to step over, to overstand the situation so we don't have to get stepped on, right? And now the only thing you can really bet on is that you're going to die. Now, I've had the fortune to die 6 different times in this life, right? Which gave me a heads up on that, reincarnation kind of does exist. Because every time I died, I saw the light. I went through my life's, looking after, and went home and met my mentors and teachers on the other side. And they, greeted me with ice cream and balloons and cake and a nice chair to sit in. And then they said, well, you got to go back. And I go, what? I'm tired. I would just want to. And they said, well, you can cash in, but you haven't completed your task that you have volunteered for. And if you want to read that story, go to my xratted.blogspot.com, where there are a number of novels and stories and essays. And you can read, the stories of lots of different things. So my spiritual path, right? and the people and the stories of my life, right? And the things that people, you should write a novel about it. Well, baby, I have. I got like 24 novels. I got about 6 or 8 up there on the Griot Publishing site, which is, if you go look for it, it's xratted.blogspot.com. That's how you get to it. And if you want to get a hold of me, you go to the Dude Awake 42 at Gmail. So anyway, that's what I'm talking about. And I'm disappointed that I can't. Please try again later. So I've been running this now at 25 minutes, 25 seconds. I'm gonna cash out here. And I'm gonna put together a few more ideas, and I'm gonna try again around 8:30, 9 p.m. somewhere in there. Okay. So here we're coming up on it. I love you all. Stay well, be good, be happy, and I'll see you a little bit later, right? I hope I can get onto live chat. Don't know why not. And again, if I try to come up there and I can't get on live chat here, I will pass the buck and do a live chat tomorrow. Okay. Oops. And stream. Are you sure? And